If you repeatedly find yourself trapped in the same arguments, feeling emotionally drained, carrying a heavy sense of guilt, or constantly stepping in to save someone else, you are caught in a specific behavioral loop. Psychologists call this invisible architecture the Karpman drama triangle. It was developed in the 1960s by psychiatrist Dr. Stephen Karpman to map the predictable, rotating roles we unconsciously adopt during a conflict. Today, we are going to map your personal conflict to this exact framework. By the end of this video, you will have a written, step-by-step action plan to shift your role and break the cycle. So grab a pen and a piece of paper. Before we move forward, bring one specific, recurring toxic relationship dynamic to your mind. You cannot systematically dismantle a trap until you see exactly how it is built. Look at this diagram. The triangle plots out three distinct roles: the persecutor, the rescuer, and the victim. The victim, marked by the V at the bottom, is a poor me stance, where a person feels helpless and refuses to take responsibility. Up at the top right, we have the rescuer, who feels a deep compulsion to jump in and fix the victim's problems. And at the top left is the persecutor, who relies on blame and harsh criticism to discharge uncomfortable feelings. These three roles rotate, but they are all driven by the exact same hidden engine. Taking on any of these roles is an unconscious attempt to cope with a deep-seated sense of shame and inadequacy. Escaping this loop requires you to be honest with yourself right now. Look at your paper and write down which of these flawed coping mechanisms you default to. Right next to that role, write down your primary emotional trigger. This is the specific physical sensation or mental warning sign you feel, like a sudden spike of anger, right before you fall into your usual habit. Once you feel that trigger, apply a mental break. This is the pause and check protocol. If your default is the rescuer, ask yourself two strict questions. Is this person actually struggling? And did they explicitly ask for my help? If your default is the victim or the persecutor, ask, am I focusing on solving the problem or just discharging my feelings? Inserting this conscious micropause between the trigger and your response creates the friction necessary to stop an automatic trauma loop in its tracks. Once you pause, you have to replace the toxic behavior with a functional alternative. This is called the empowerment dynamic. If you identified as the victim, your new role is the creator. Instead of being powerless, a creator takes responsibility and actively responds. If you play the rescuer, your new role is the coach, who empowers others to solve their own problems. If you default to the persecutor, you become the challenger, evoking growth without blame. Every toxic relational instinct you have has a direct, positive equivalent. You can maintain deep human connection without the exhausting dysfunction. Go back to your paper, draw an arrow next to your old toxic role, and write down your new healthy role. Next to that, you are going to draft a specific memorized phrase. This is your script for the next time your trigger fires. If you are stepping into the creator role, your template is stating the struggle and asking for exactly what you need. For example, this is what I am struggling with, and I need your support with X. If you are practicing the coach role, your phrase is, I am here for you. How do you want to be helped? If you are the challenger, state your reality and hold the line. This is what I think, and this is my boundary. For those shifting out of the rescuer role, you face a specific hurdle. You likely mistake over-helping for love. When you finally stop stepping in, you are going to feel an intense wave of guilt. Reframe that immediately. Feeling guilty in this moment does not mean you are doing something wrong. It is simply the physical sensation of enforcing a healthy boundary. Look at the piece of paper in front of you. You now possess a defined trigger, a designated healthy role, and the exact words you need to pivot. The drama triangle has a fatal structural weakness. It strictly requires two or more people playing complementary roles to survive. The moment you refuse your usual role and step into an adult, empowered stance, you force the entire dynamic to collapse. This happens even if the other person desperately tries to drag you back into the drama. Because these roles are deeply ingrained childhood survival mechanisms, maintaining this shift takes work. Exploring trauma-informed therapy can help you address the root causes of these codependent habits. Walking away from the drama triangle is hard, but it is the only way to trade those emotional roller coasters for authentic, balanced relationships.